welcome to the deep dive. You send us the source materials, the articles, the research, the community plans, and, well, we dive in. We synthesize them to give you the key insights and the actionable knowledge.
That's right.
Today, we're plunging into a topic that feels incredibly urgent: mental health first aid. You'll hear it called MHFA.
And we're using a really specific community effort as our lens here. It's the foundation of FM's Fifth Friday speaker series.
Okay.
So the goal isn't just, reporting on some local event. It's about extracting the core value. What is MHFA really?
Right.
Why is this community, Fulton-Montgomery, strategically investing in it? And crucially, what practical knowledge can you, the listener, gain from looking at their goals?
That phrase, strategic investment, feels important because our sources, they flat out say it. Mental health challenges are, and I'm quoting here, at an all-time high. This isn't just some vague feeling of anxiety, it feels like.
Yeah.
Like a system-wide stress test.
It absolutely sets the stage. And if you look at the specific context the sources are highlighting, there's this kind of dual struggle going on.
Okay.
On one side, you've got college students. They're dealing with intense academic pressure, the cost of tuition, maybe social isolation, that whole pressure cooker.
Yeah, that's a lot.
But then on the other side, you have adults facing, persistent burnout from the pandemic years, economic worries.
So hitting both ends of the spectrum.
Exactly. The community's feeling strain from, multiple directions at once.
Okay, so let's unpack that strain a bit. The real issue isn't just that the need is high, right? It seems like the problem is also that the community often lacks the instruction manual for how to respond.
That's it, precisely.
Like many people, employers, neighbors, even fellow students, they might struggle to even see the early signs of distress. Or they just don't feel equipped to offer support. They don't know what to do.
And that's the crucial gap MHFA is trying to fill. So, let's define it clearly for anyone who's not familiar.
Please do.
Mental Health First Aid, or MHFA, it's a nationally recognized training program. It's skills-based.
Skills-based, okay.
Designed to help ordinary people, non-professionals, identify, understand, and provide that initial support to someone who might be experiencing a mental health challenge or a substance use issue.
It gets compared to CPR a lot, doesn't it? Like CPR for emotional crises.
That's a really common and useful analogy, yeah. It's about that immediate non-clinical help, just until professional help can step in.
So stabilization, connection, but not therapy.
Exactly. It's not diagnosis, it's not treatment. And this specific event in FM, it's really drilling down into that. The session title tells you a lot. Recognizing the signs and symptoms and providing overall support to individuals.
That signals a shift, right? From just being aware passively of actually doing something, active intervention.
Precisely. And just for context, the event itself is set for Friday, October 31st. Starts with a breakfast buffet at 8 a.m. The program runs 8:30 to 9:30 a.m.
And that's happening at the Allen House at FMCC. Got it. Okay, now here's where it gets really interesting for you listening. We can take the goals of that training session they're hosting and sort of translate them directly into 4 core pillars of actionable knowledge. This is what the foundation wants people walking away with.
Right. The first pillar, as you kind of touched on, is observational. It's about learning to recognize those early warning signs.
The subtle stuff.
Often, yes. Moving beyond the obvious crisis moments and looking for shifts, like changes in sleep, maybe someone suddenly withdrawing from friends or work, or unusual irritability, things that seem a bit off.
Okay, so that's pillar 1. Recognize the signs. What's next?
Pillar 2 jumps right into the interaction. It's learning how to offer genuine, non-judgmental support.
And this is where a lot of us probably stumble, right? Feeling like you have to fix it or saying something comforting that maybe isn't.
Exactly. People feel compelled to offer solutions or sometimes platitudes, just cheer up or look on the bright side.
Which can feel dismissive.
It really can. And that fear, the fear of saying the wrong thing, it often leads people to just say nothing at all, which honestly is often the worst possible outcome.
So what does MHFA teach instead?
It teaches specific listening techniques. So instead of that unsolicited advice, oh, you should just try this, or have you thought about, the non-judgmental approach focuses on validating their experience.
Like I was saying.
Simple things like, that sounds incredibly difficult, or just, I'm here to listen if you want to talk. It acknowledges the pain without minimizing it or trying to solve it on the spot.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Kind of reframes the role, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You're not the fixer, you're the safe space, the listener.
Precisely.
But, okay, here's a question then. If this training is maybe just an hour, or even a few hours long, can it really equip someone with deep intervention skills? Or is the main value just getting them comfortable starting that conversation?
That's a really thoughtful challenge. And no, the goal isn't to create instant clinicians. That's not it at all.
Okay.
The value, and this connects directly to the third pillar, is creating that bridge.
A bridge to what?
A bridge to professional help. The training gives you just enough knowledge to overcome that initial fear, to recognize when something is serious, and crucially, to understand when and how to connect someone with professional support. It empowers you to make that successful handoff.
Okay, successful handoff. Can
Yeah.
you elaborate on that? What does that break actually look like in practice if the first aider isn't, the final stop?
It means the first aider has some awareness of local resources. Maybe they know the number for a crisis line or where the local mental health clinic is.
So practical info.
Yes. And they can move from just listening and validating to taking appropriate action if needed, asking direct questions like, are you thinking of hurting yourself? If the answer is yes, they have some idea of the next steps.
Like calling for help or staying with the person.
Exactly. Calling a crisis line, maybe helping arrange transport to a clinic, or simply staying with the person until professional help arrives. It transitions from supportive presence to active safety management.
Got it. Okay, so recognize signs, offer non-judgmental support, know when and how to bridge to professional help. What's the fourth pillar?
The fourth pillar zooms out a bit. It focuses on community mobilization. So exploring how local organizations are coordinating their response to this growing need within the community itself.
Ah, the system view.
Exactly, because the overall goal here is pretty ambitious. It's about educating, connecting, and empowering the entire community. We're talking campuses, workplaces, homes, equipping all these settings with better support tools.
And to do that effectively, you need coordination.
You absolutely do, which is why the foundation very wisely put together this panel for their event. It's a cross-section of professionals who really represent that holistic, coordinated view.
Yeah, that connective tissue seems vital.
Like that?
And looking at the panel lineup, it really tells a story about how complex care needs that combined expertise. It's not just one person's job.
Right. The structure of the panel emphasizes that coordination piece. For instance, you've got Jeremy Pertel moderating. His role is interesting. He's a mental health crisis counselor at the Family Counseling Center, and he's the liaison to SUNY FMCC.
So straddling both crisis response and the campus environment.
Exactly. That dual role really highlights the focus on rapid response and directly linking the campus community to clinical services when needed.
Makes sense. And who else is on the panel?
Well, also from the Family Counseling Center, you have Maggie Rowley, who's the Senior Director of Client Services, and Katie Broadwell, who's a licensed mental health counselor.
So that brings in the direct client service perspective and the clinical expertise.
Precisely. That covers the sort of foundational clinical insight.
But it's not just clinicians, right? You mentioned the system view.
Correct. Because this idea of decentralized care, it needs more than just therapists. So they also brought in Katie Kiffney. She's from the Mental Health Association of Fulton and Montgomery counties. Her title is CSPOA Coordinator.
Okay, CSPOA coordinator. That sounds specific. For listeners who aren't familiar, what does that role actually involve in the community?
Good question. CSPOA stands for Coordinated System of Care, sometimes called Single Point of Accountability or Access.
Oh.
Essentially, the coordinator helps manage the process for people who have really complex or high-need mental health situations. They often help connect individuals who need services from multiple different agencies or organizations.
So navigating the system.
Exactly. Bringing her insight shows that this session isn't just about that immediate first aid moment. It's also about understanding how to navigate the, frankly, often complicated system after that initial crisis or conversation.
What's really fascinating here, then, is how their combined expertise works to demystify mental health support for everyone.
Yeah.
It's sending a message that responding isn't exclusively a job for specialists. It requires teachers, parents, business owners, retirees, everyone to have some basic understanding. They're making specialized knowledge more accessible.
Absolutely. They're taking that clinical insight and making it actionable for the layperson, moving the expertise out of just the therapy room and weaving it into the community's fabric.
Right.
Okay, let's pivot slightly to the investment side of this. We know the event itself, the breakfast, it's free, which is great for accessibility. But the source material really emphasizes that the real value here is the philosophical commitment behind it all.
This is where you see that concept of decentralized care really being backed up. The foundation of FM, they're a nonprofit. Their mission is about student success, cultural enrichment.
Right.
And they clearly see mental health awareness as fundamental to that mission. They recognize, quite rightly, that if students are struggling emotionally, well, academic success becomes much, much harder.
So true education goes beyond just the textbook.
And way beyond. It has to include well-being.
There's a quote, or at least a paraphrase, from a foundation representative that really captures this investment philosophy. They said something like, equipping the community with tools for empathy and support is like investing in a healthier, more connected future.
That's a powerful framing. It positions MHFA training not as some kind of expense, but as critical infrastructure, like building a bridge or paving a road, but for community well-being.
Yeah, exactly. A social infrastructure project.
And because it is seen as this broader long-term investment, they're also looking for sustained support. It's not just about this one event.
Oh, okay.
The sources actually outline some specific, actionable ways the community can help keep this mission going financially, ensuring this focus on wellness continues.
Right. So for listeners, if this resonates, you can actually help. One way is by donating directly to mental health and student support programs at FMCC. That directly fuels these kinds of initiatives.
Or, if you prefer ongoing support, you can join what they call the monthly sustainers circle. Those regular, predictable contributions, even small ones, are apparently vital for keeping these health, education, and culture programs running smoothly within the FMCC community structure.
That makes sense. Predictability helps planning, and for folks thinking really long-term about lasting impact.
There's also the option of planned giving, leaving a legacy through a will or estate plan. That really shows a deep commitment to embedding this focus on mental wellness into the local infrastructure for generations to come.
So multiple ways to invest in that healthier, more connected future.
Exactly. And just circling back for anyone local who might be thinking, hey, I want to attend this event, we should give those logistical details one more time.
Good idea.
Yeah.
So it's the 5th Friday Speaker Series, happening on Friday, October 31st. Location is the Allen House at FMCC. Breakfast starts at 8 a.m. The program itself runs 8:30 to 9:30 a.m.
And the key thing is the RSVP deadline. You need to register by October 24th.
Right. You can do that by calling 518-736-3622, extension 8020.
Or you can email mtambasc@fmcc.edu. That's mtambasc@fmcc.edu.
Perfect.
So, okay, if we synthesize this whole deep dive, what we're seeing is the foundation of FM's focus on mental health first aid as this really strategic, community-driven response to significant societal strain. They're treating MHFA as a practical, almost essential skill, like a bridge, as we said.
Right, the bridge.
And it's being driven by expert coordination, bringing together clinical, crisis, and organizational perspectives. And it's all underpinned by real community investment.
So if we zoom out one last time and connect this local effort to the bigger picture, it does raise a pretty fascinating question, doesn't it?
What's that?
Does a local skills-based training like MHFA1 that empowers regular citizens, does it reflect a necessary shift? Maybe away from relying solely on centralized, often resource-strained medical systems.
And towards something more decentralized.
Yeah.
A community-driven approach where wellness is kind of shared, supported right there in the neighborhood.
Yeah. Is that what we're seeing?
I think it certainly suggests that the front line of mental health support is increasingly shifting. It's moving towards informed neighbors, colleagues, friends, people acting as the first responders in this sort of network of collective well-being.
A healthier, more connected future may be built one informed conversation at a time?
That seems to be the hope, yes.
Well, thank you for joining us as we explored these practical steps toward, hopefully, greater community strength. We really hope you take these actionable suggestions and insights to heart.
Yeah, lots to think about.
We'll catch you on the next deep dive.